Why do I have 2? Wait. I don't know what's happening. Hold on. That's the date wrong. Change it. No, I gotta go to YouTube to change it, I guess. How's everybody doing though? Ohio, Ohio. YouTube should be live, Suku, no? It says it is. No. Yeah, something weird happened. I think there's a couple different links for it. That one should be good though. Let me delete these. Okay. I think we are good. I think we are live. Ooh. Alright, who we got in here? What's up, Chillaxer, Yang Yang, Ohio Han, Ann, Suku, AJ, Sipug. Alright, so how are we looking today? Doing good. Doing good. Got some headache that won't go away, but better today than yesterday, so. Let's make this perfect. Cool. Alright, so bit of a mixed day at the moment. I guess mainly red as of just the past hour or so. God, I had a fucking shit one yesterday. Oh, headache? Weird, me too. Like out of nowhere. Maybe they were testing some supersonic weaponry or something. So, woke up a couple hours ago. Mainly a green day. Everything was up. And then in the last, just like, switch here. How long is this? That's 2 hours or so. We kind of started to pull back a bit. Did anyone notice this? Ton? Like, I don't understand Ton at all. I mean, actually, I kind of do in that it has a lot of real utility. Telegram has a lot of stuff that's gated behind Ton. Or just, not just the coin, but the network in general. So, for example, if you want to use any kind of, or build any kind of web app in Telegram, so like what we were going to do with the bot, a web app would be, instead of using our bot like you do in the chat interface, it would actually kind of go full screen and give you like a UI as if you were in a web browser. They only let you do that if your web app is built on Ton, the blockchain. The stars, the premium currency in Telegram, has to do with, or can be bought with Ton coin. You pay Ton for like certain special group features, so it's actually one of the most utilized coins like out there. But what a weird chart, right? Look, this is the 1 year. I don't know how you trade this thing, really. If you use Telegram and you have any use for Ton, I would just probably buy some and then keep it. Basically what I did with Binance Coin back in the day. I bought a fuckload of it when it was like 80 cents because I just wanted cheaper trading fees on Binance. And then one day it blew up to be really expensive. And I had unfortunately used all of it by then. But alright, so let's see. How are you guys feeling? Do we want to do news stories or charts first? Let me know. Oh, where'd our music go? Let's see what we got for news stories. Let's see. Should make a new document here soon. This was last week, right? No. Yeah, okay. Maybe we don't have any news this week. I think the ambassadors and mods. Black. Although wait, some of these look a little different. Like, I remember reading some of this. Don't remember others actually. Weird. Like CPN, I remember this coming out, and I don't think we talked about it on stream. Not sure. Or no, we did. Yeah, and we talked about how this is very interesting considering the current conversation with Ripple trying to buy Circle and therefore USDC, which is kind of crazy. Okay, wow, holy shit. So we are in, I don't know what season you'd call this, but startup / degen meme season. These are some impressive numbers. Let's see, what are these dates? So this was the 21st. This was 1 week ago today, I think, right? Yeah. They had their highest. That's pretty nuts. Almost 2.5 billion. No, over 2.5 billion. Let's check it out. Oh wait, no. That's not the page I want. Where? This will work. Here we go. So what has come out of Binance Alpha? Fartcoin, SPX, Polyhedra Network. Why does my fucking music keep pausing? Grass. Oh, interesting. I did not know this was a Binance Alpha project. Have you guys heard about Grass? This is an interesting project that everyone kind of called a scam for a while just because it was like a farm for an airdrop type thing, and then the airdrop was super tiny, but it definitely seems like it's a real project actually, trying to do real things with some success and adoption. So decentralized internet sounds corny to say, but it's kind of basically what it is. I mean, it's probably not truly decentralized, but it's like a bandwidth marketplace, you could say. The same way we have cloud compute, cloud storage. Grass is kind of trying to do that for internet bandwidth. Not much big news. Trump media will buy BTC. Delisted coin, Alpaca. Oh, you got the Grass airdrop? Chillaxer, is that what you're saying? Okay, so how did you farm that? Were you like running grass on your phone, or? I know there's a couple different ways to participate, right? Or actually, what exactly? Yeah, just like how exactly was that process, and what did you think of the product itself? Because I've kind of had my eye on this for a while, not gonna lie, and I've been considering looking more into it. Whenever you see something that's not a meme coin keep popping up in random different places in this industry, it's something you should keep an eye on. So right, if you just see a random Twitter post about a project one day, and then next week you see it mentioned in a CoinDesk article, and then a couple days later you're seeing their founder interviewed on a big podcast, like it, or even sometimes bad publicity, right? Sometimes you'll see threads about a project that are negative, but then it at least puts that project in your mind. So whenever you've heard the name of a project like over 6-7 times in unrelated places over the past couple weeks, it's usually something to like keep in mind at least, and just keep an eye on. Okay, so let's see. It wasn't a big airdrop, but the token's doing great. On my PC, needed to share links for some points. Will you share more points? Yep. Are you still doing anything with Grass Chillaxer? Or was it just for the airdrop and now you've kind of reoriented? This drop is a little scary that we're having right now, actually. Okay, let's try and draw a couple different lines here, see what looks like it fits best. All these lines. Okay. Still running in my background. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Cool. What up, Crypto Profit, Ohio? Flip the tokens though, and it reached $1 because all jars off the shit. Hey, still pulled a nice little profit from the airdrop. Can't complain there, right? Okay, so we're going to take a look at Bitcoin right now. Don't know if I will have any profound thoughts necessarily, but I've definitely been a little bit less confident in the market lately. Not meaning bearish, literally meaning just less confident in either direction. I think we're at a point where, like, this is a pretty steep run up, right? If you just look at the steepness of this trend line, although it's not like we haven't done stuff like it before. So I do think some pullback could be possible. Like a drop to here wouldn't even be big at all on the macro. We'd still be above 100. In fact, let's mark 100K real quick. That's a big old number for us. Yeah, so like, look how far we could drop, honestly, and still stay above 100K. So I would say I'm not totally bullish in that it's an up-only thing. I am bullish in that I think this, I know we're looking at the Bitcoin chart right now, but this area right here, like just for all charts, you know, if we were to go to this bad boy of a chart, I do think that was probably the multi-year low for Ethereum back here, and therefore probably most of the altcoin market as well. So no matter how much we pull back, I think you only have to worry if you're leverage trading, like you and I, Sakumu, so do keep it in mind. But I can pretty confidently say I don't think we are in any kind of bear market anymore. Wouldn't say we're in a full-blown bull market yet, that's for sure. I think we need to clear this sort of prior high earlier with a lot more room. Like this whole, yeah, basically like where we're in right now. We've kind of explored it before, it kind of rejected us. So we're either going to probably play around in here a little more, maybe pull back, but I do think eventually this year possibly. Let's zoom out a little. Let's zoom out. Okay, so years, not that long in the zoomed out chart. Okay, that's the start of next year. Not that January 1st actually means anything in markets, right? There are other important dates, I guess, for a yearly candle, but what I just want to see is, let's say Bitcoin keeps up roughly its momentum. You know, we're zoomed out enough that it's going to smooth a lot out. So kind of like, that seems about like halfway, right? So honestly, if Bitcoin continues its average trajectory, probably won't be that much higher than we are right now by year end. 117, that would put us, and keep in mind I just drew this as a random line, not a trend line or anything, just sort of the average trajectory going up. Timmy, did you hear Levith? No. What? Stock, plot, finance, levered Ethereum. Okay. Leverage token issued by a vault containing liquid staked and liquid restaked representations of ETH. Done purpose seeking higher return, offers leveraged exposure, ETH benefits from the growth potential of Ethereum staking with input gains. The levies holder entitled to the remaining returns of the vault after bond ETH obligations are met. Let's see. Have you tried? Is this live yet, Takumu? Okay, yeah, I just saw your message. Cool. So it's not actually technically leveraged. It's more just like a higher yield ETH. Because it looks like you're not necessarily like entitled to the remaining returns. I don't quite get how it works, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm dumb or if they're not explaining it well here. I mean, I get the basics, but what makes it leveraged? Like, they should just put an example somewhere. Like, you have 1 ETH, you put it into the pool, you pick these settings, you get, like... But what have you thought about it so far, Sukumo? Also, Finkersm on their community. Okay, cool. Yeah, he could probably explain it. It's looking like it's not technically leverage, it just feels like it. What's really happening is it's a way to hold ETH where you're getting a bunch of extra passive income, or if the market is negative, your funds are being eaten into to pay like other people's passive. But I don't know if that's right. But interesting, cool. There's something like this on Cosmos I played around with for a while that was like liquidationless leverage positions, and it did work. It was interesting. But in the same way, actually, here's something like Sukumu. Here's a question: does it show you on their interface anything, or maybe somewhere in their docs here I'm not reading, what effective leverage it's equivalent to? Like, do you see anywhere on your dashboard, like, this is equivalent to like 1.8x leverage or 2.3x or anything like that. Because one thing I noticed when I've used these liquidation lists, or no liquidation, leverage trading things, or leverage products, is that whatever math wizardry is going into making it so you don't get liquidated on downsides also makes it so you don't get as big of a return on the upside as like a standard leverage trading alternative, I think. It's not a stable, lev ratio changes always. Yeah, no, that makes sense, but do you see it at any given time? Does it show you it in like a multiplier? Like you're effectively 3x leveraged right now, or how would that even work? I'll just have to play around with it. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay, so on our tiny little chart up above the chat here, which by the way, I can get the exchange logos in there. We can kind of maybe see that we're starting to see a little bit of a reversal. We're literally on the 15-second chart, but we zoom way back in here. Suppose it could make sense. There's some sort of trend line I'm kind of seeing form around here. You can maybe argue another one there. So that could be our daily low. I drew one line earlier. Where did it go? It had me a little worried. I think it was from this candle through there. Nah, no, that's not even a clean trend line. We haven't broken any super important support levels, except, what was this again? This was just that crazy. I guess actually it is a fairly bad sign that we broke below this crazy wick with some closed candles. Similar to kind of the way Lycos trades. We've definitely broken through this prior low, and that may indicate there's momentum for more downward. But also, this kind of just... this is just a guess at this point. Oh, wait a minute. That looks pretty clean. I suspect we will touch one of these two upper trend lines again before breaking out. It's starting to feel a little bit pennanty. That we might do either like there or there. Fuck it, you know, honestly we could do both. Something like that would not seem too weird for me. And this would be the bullish scenario. This would be if we don't break this trend line, we don't go down to test this one until later. Just realized we don't have our fibs on this chart. Let's put at least one or two. Let's just do the big one. Come on, bitch. I'm just seeing where feels like it fits best. Not there. Whoops. Okay, that feels pretty good. So we're not even near any fib lines right now, really, unless we were to pull back down to 101. Which again, very possible actually, right? If we... because at some point this trend here has to break, right? Too steep up. Let me send you. Let's check this image out. Oh, I hate this new Discord UI. No, there we go. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yep, this is what I was wondering. So, it gives you like. Interesting. Okay, I'll be interested to see. I want to understand how this works. I'll talk with Finker later. If is that who you said? Yeah, Finker. Mod there. It's just actually real quick. Finance, yeah. Look at that another time. Oh, okay. Let's look at you real quick. I don't remember which chart we've been using. This fib line has really been a bitch. Nope, not quite. Okay, let's add a smaller set of fibs from our local low. Oh, wait, whoops. Now this isn't usually we're supposed to use fibs, obviously. We don't usually go backwards in time with them, but come on, get me up there. Oh my god, whatever. Let's do it manually. But if you watched me before, you know how I feel about fibs. It is truly just a magical little math number where it's found in nature, and it kind of doesn't matter how you draw them, unlike almost any other piece of TA I can think of, where you have to draw it right because what you're relying on is other traders everywhere drawing the same thing and looking at the same thing and trading the same way. Okay. So I'm wondering if I did something slightly wrong with this fib, just because both of these seem so close. These are spot on. Okay. So when we do that little backwards fib, we see we do have this pretty strong support line that we've already seen acting as support quite a few times. We broke through it once, but yeah, this is not the best market stream I'll ever do, because I think the market is just completely at a decision point right now. Meaning, I see a lot of bullish things, I see a lot of bearish things. One like bearish thing I'm seeing, and it's not a clean one, but we kind of have a triple top going on. This one's a little bit lower. Let's zoom out. That's what we gotta do. Let's zoom out quite a bit. Okay. Actually, we're gonna hop over to Finance's chart. Joffrin. Because I want to look at their volume profile. What's happening? Okay, so the question is, let's go back so we see pretty much everything. Okay, so what most people are worried about that I've talked to recently is the fact that this was a crazy pump that feels like it needs retracement, right? Yeah, I use tons Well, pretty much everything's an when you say indicator, do you mean you might be thinking of like moving averages and stuff. This is an indicator. Volume is an indicator. Moving averages, RSI. I use all sorts of indicators. Yeah. But so what I was gonna say is most people are weary just because of how violent this pump is. Most people I've talked to who aren't super bullish are just thinking like, we gotta retrace, we gotta like undo this and like explore that price territory again. But I kind of disagree, just because if we look back in Ethereum's price history, yeah, I guess actually there is a little gap of volume here in our big rise, but like not too much. There's way less down here, less above us, which is good. Low volume areas you can tend to soar through, as we did right here. So I don't think the normal laws, like when we were at this point in time, actually that's not a good example at all. Right before it is. When we were at this point in time, we had never explored these prices before, and it was very obvious to say, okay, we're gonna retrace and re-explore these prices. And would you look, we ended up actually doing it quite a bit. But now we're in an area that feels kind of like a new high, just because Ethereum's been in the shitter for so long. But Ethereum's been here many, many times before, right? And down here, kind of same. We had a bunch of chop here, peaks, this whole area, this sort of, I'm just looking in the stem area of our recent rise. So that one factor doesn't worry me as much as most people I've talked to. Is this the line I was looking? No. It feels like there's a clean trend line right there. There's not. Unless it's... Oh. Unless it's just that. Let me see. It doesn't start earlier. Doesn't work that way. Also, just another thing. So I really like this. This is called volume profile, or VPR. This is one of my favorite indicators, just because it speaks to what do we got here. Nice. What? I assume this is yours, Suku. What platform are you using? Also, why does the chat look so small? Is that just me? I think this thing is taking up more. Do that. I know that. I meant like, what? Have you connected TradingView to a platform, and are those real buy and shorts, or is this like paper trading testing an indicator? It looks like you're just testing a strategy on TradingView. Is that right? That's what I meant to ask. Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, actually I haven't used Heikin-Ashi candles in quite a while. And I do like trading them. They show quite a lot. Oh my god, I feel like I have a burp that doesn't want to come out of me and it's painful. Alright, what I haven't done the past couple sessions is just look at a couple different coins and charts, other than the big blue chip. So what other coins are you guys looking at these days or holding? Oh my god, my head is killing me too. I'm just a mess right now. Oh. Close some of this stuff. Pawn is just wild. Injective's another token. It's a Cosmos token for a perp dex that was just going crazy. Now it's pulling back with everything else. Oh, Uni is one I wanted to look at. I've noticed Uni doing pretty well lately, or at least doing interesting moves, I should say. Given its longer term. So since the Uni token came out, actually I guess it's done okay in general. Like, the bulk of it has stayed, let's say it launched around here. Binance probably didn't add it on day one. Not too bad. I mean, not great, down a good 50%, but had an ATH first, wasn't straight down, and then lately, kind of bullish like everything else. Actually, what time frame do I want? What's an hour gonna show me? Yeah. Let's zoom out first, throw a fib on here. I don't know if I want to go tip to tip. Let's try. Whoa, what did I just click? Go one quick zoom in. Let's try body to body instead of wick to wick. See if it's any cleaner. Maybe. I think I do like that one a little more. Okay. Nothing too helpful though. Honestly, actually, I haven't looked at Uni in a chart. I overlooked hype and Kato. Same. I mean, okay, one of the biggest tips I'll give you is never, in this entire industry of Web3, you cannot ever waste time feeling sorry you missed something, because it's impossible to catch everything. Between the real utility projects that pop up, between the million different incubators, accelerators, pump.fun style launch pads, all the different projects demanding your attention with people posting on Twitter, YouTube videos, whatever, do what you can, never stress on things that you missed, because even if you had caught them, you might have fumbled the bag, you might have missed something else because of it. I don't think any of you guys are crying about it. I didn't mean that. Lyco sent the whatever you'd call this Pepe with it, but that's something I think everyone's probably felt, right? And I'm probably telling you guys something you already know with that one. I think you learned that pretty quickly in Web3. You're like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna miss a lot. That's just how it's gonna be. It's like, I have it in my altcoin list, but I didn't look at the chart as well when I was so bullish on BTC on monthly charts. Yeah. I think always keeping stuff in perspective is also good. Meaning, most returns in crypto are going to beat most other investment methods by a long shot. So, yeah, maybe you were holding Ethereum or Bitcoin instead of dogshit coin 4 when it did 800%. But you still probably made 2 or 3x the profit that someone just holding stocks did in a certain time period. At least if you zoom out enough and you hodl. So yeah, like I was saying, I actually haven't looked at Uni. I don't even hold any, but the only reason I brought it up is because I always try and give examples of why the fuck I use a chaotic chart that looks like this at all. And it's mainly because I can see how things move relative to each other, like I've said. And there's been a couple moments in the past month or so since our bottom where I've seen Uni just move completely on its own. Can't even see it in this mess. I don't even see it, actually. It's not just you guys. Well, I can find it if I look. But so it looks like it's not doing anything too out of the ordinary. But just because I keep this on the side sometimes while I'm working or watching stuff or whatever, especially if I have leveraged positions, sometimes just watch this like a hawk. Actually, fun fact, that's where this chart came from. Is way back in the day when I used to leverage trade, I would have positions open on like 20 different coins, and so I just added them all to a chart like this so I could watch them in one go. And then even though I don't do that anymore, and all those coins have been replaced by ones that matter, I ended up liking it as a way to just like look at everything. Here's an example, perfect. So Uni did this. Why is this important? Okay. when we see the whole market pump, like let's say right here, it's worth noting that like FET here, Injective, some of these, that they did pump more than the rest of the market, right? They're definitely outliers, but they just pumped more. They pumped at the same time as everything else. Uni has done a couple of these things recently. They're on smaller scales, right? I'm on the 5-minute now, but where it's not just that it's pumping more than the rest of the market or dumping, it's doing it completely on its own. And so this is more, I wish I'd approach this differently so I could stress kind of how important this is in Web3. In Web3, everything really moves together. Kind of the same in traditional finance and other markets, right? There's arbitrage, there's effects that cause it. But in Web3, for the most part, the whole industry is in a cycle. Most buys are happening, or most trades, buys and sells, are happening because of arbitrage, because of bots, because Bitcoin has a big tank in its price, and there's so many coins paired with Bitcoin that now need to rebalance that pairing, and there's arbitrage opportunity with that coin's USDC pair. Blah, 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 blah. So when you see something like this is actually like kind of, like I would never go buy a token just because you see this happen, right? But you see how rare that kind of thing happens, right? Ton did it. So Ton's an example here. Although you could, Ton's weird, as I've talked about before. It doesn't follow anyways. Let me see if I, see off the top of my head, I can't even find another example. These don't count, right? This is when the whole market's rising. These are just rising faster. Here, maybe. Here, this little thing on AKT was sort of interesting. Although this looks like someone just accidentally hit the buy button, I don't know. But basically, I'll shut up about this. I'm going on way too long. Web3 is such a sort of weird, rigged but not rigged, scammy but not scammy industry, the trading side of it, that I like to see things like this because it means that someone is manually choosing to put a lot of money in this coin, right? It's probably not a trading bot. It's probably not someone arbitrage sniping. It's probably either an individual or a trading entity or a potential future partner of Uni, someone that is just going in and spot buying a fuckload of Uni because they either need it or they want it for investment purposes. And you just don't see it a ton. So I've been keeping my eye on Uni more. If this whole area right here looks a little bit more reversey here soon, I might even enter a Uni long. Let's see. We gotta drop down quite a bit here. But I also want to see way more. Okay. So if I were to enter a Uni long, I think my target would probably be this first fib level with an intermediary target of, honestly, probably not this fib level. If I had to guess, we will blow past this and then use it as support. Could be wrong, but so let's see. So let's say I enter Uni somewhere around here. Okay, it's about a 50% draw up. My stop would actually be, funny enough, it lines up with this volume thing. It would be right below this level, which happens to also be our volume peak. So 3.5 risk reward ratio, not bad. That's a 14% drawdown. So, because if I enter along in Uni, it would be with leverage. And so I'm doing a little math in my head, like what leverage would be safe for this. And just, is the risk reward worth it? So let's actually compare. So this would be my short-term swing trade idea for Uni. Let's do the same thing with another coin that I've been looking at lately, which, what would that be? Sui. Let's try Sui. Do that, or we'll try Sui. Chart might not line up as well. Yeah, very different charts, so actually hard to do a one-to-one comparison. But let's try our best. Let's say... Again, don't know how I want to do these fibs, just gonna... I see areas where both of these fibs line up. I don't know which one I want to go with. Doesn't matter too much for this example. I'm not actually going to be doing this trade. So let's just do wick to wick, because it gives us a little bit more to work with, and because then it makes us sitting on a fib line. So same thing. Okay. Let's just see. Not saying these are good trades, purely want to compare. So that's a 28% rise up. If Sui were to keep falling, I would think this is where I would have actually spent more time drawing my fib line. I guess, let's say there. 215 risk reward. Okay, so would probably take the uni trade over this one. But not super comparable, just because Sui's like on an upswing and could actually break and find a new high, whereas Uni has a lot of ground to recover, right? So like Sui could do something like this soon. It's quite possible. What was the other one I was just gonna look at? What was it? Oh. Look at like ARB or Optimism. Let's do ARB because we have it on Shogun. Okay, so much more similar to Uni here, just in terms of the type of chart. I'm gonna do not that. That doesn't look like anything. That looks... Yeah, that looks much better. Also, what? It is in the sound. I just hear like a fan whirring. Oh, and now it's gone. Who would put that in your song? Oh, no, it's come back. Skipping you. Okay. Okay, so same analysis. This one's a little worse in a way. ARB is still well below even its first fib. Okay, but that could be a good thing risk-reward wise, right? Also, funny enough, sitting on our local volume level, so that's actually sort of a good sign for ARB. When it runs, I think it would probably run to here. It would definitely stop somewhere along the way. And then if I entered this trade, hard to say where I'd put this stop, because we're just down here. Actually, no, not hard to say. I think right there. Yeah, and I'm thinking right here, because this little peak right here might act as some kind of support. We can kind of see it did here, so we could get that low and bounce. This wick might be nothing, but kind of lining up just beneath it as well. Beneath this wick, beneath this candle. And I would probably think about this a little bit more before I made this trade, but let's just see again. And now, okay, now that's better. 80% up. 5.35 risk reward. Let's see if it was only gonna run to there. Still 53%. And let's just humor ourselves, shall we? Let's do something like this. Yeah, that actually looks quite clean as a fib. Wow. Clean touches, clean touches, clean, 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 clean. Okay. So let's pretend this is what we're working with. Our first target could be somewhere around still 80%. Okay. And then, you know, if we actually start coming back. Problem is, I don't really know what the fuck ARB does. A lot of these L2 tokens need a better sort of narrative and market fit. Same with OP, Optimism. So actually, these are both decently juicy looking trades to take, especially Uni with this sort of bump out of nowhere earlier. This tells me either some whale, trading firm, market maker, somebody kind of knows something or has a theory developed. And since I'm still leaning bullish overall, meaning I think sometime in the next, 24 to 48 hours, we'll be higher than we were in the last 24 to 48 hours, we'll get above this, etc., etc. Since I am leaning that way, my gut tells me that this is sort of a pre-pump buy. Someone knows the market's, or is predicting, not knows, but thinks the market's going to have a big upswing soon and wants to get ahead of it because they think Uni's going to have a big part of it. This one I'm not even going to talk about ton. I don't even know. One day, one Wednesday market stream could just be a 100% pure deep dive into Ton. I think that could actually be interesting. And maybe Tron as well. Although we all know Tron. But their charts are similar, Ton and Tron. I've talked about that a lot. It's also interesting to see, just like, I mean, you can see it on this chart in the middle of my screen. You could also see it over here, up on the chart here. Bitcoin sort of at its low for the day, like as low as it's been. Whereas Uni almost has this like breaking up appearance. It seems like it found its low an hour or so ago. Ton too, honestly. Okay, do I want to enter a Uni long? If this trend line is as clean as it looks like, it's not. Okay. I'm gonna check a couple other charts, a couple other indicators. I gotta shut the stream down here in a second, just because we have a team meeting in 5 minutes. But I'm gonna check a couple other things, and if I do enter a position on this, I'll let you guys know in the Discord. You can track my progress. Oh, we already got them. We're gonna go 1 day. MA 30. And I forget our default setting. Yeah. I do kind of like the setup here. Let me adjust this a bit. Why is this not doing anything? Wait, you have to click OK. I didn't even know you could change this here. I thought they were separate indicators. Tuku, I think this is probably what you were talking about earlier, right? When you're asking if I use indicators, is this the kind you were sort of thinking? Yeah, yep. Yeah, I definitely do. I don't have any strategies that are purely based off like one indicator, but I use them for confirmation, I'd say. Like if I'm thinking of a trade, I'll look at a couple indicators, play with their settings until they seem to sort of work in the past. So I just tweaked around with this moving average setting till I got something I'm kind of happy with. So sort of acting as a ceiling on the way down here. Pretty decent support. Coming up here, follows trends pretty well. Support touch, kind of flips it again. Couldn't get it to hug that, but this is as close as we're getting. So, and now it's kind of under us as support again. So I would just do a quick sort of confirmation like that. I would say, let me find the settings. Yeah, totally. I'll say, let me find the settings that look like they worked in past, and then see how those settings are looking currently. So apparently, no surprise really, because we're at a low here. But okay, so now I do have to end the stream just a second here. But what I would probably do next is I would pull up a chart of just this in Bitcoin, laid on top of each other like this. And I would see, okay, let's see, for this to draw down, for uni, to draw down to this red line, which is our volume pinnacle. And I'd also check this moving average while we're at it. Where would that put Bitcoin? Does it look like Bitcoin could see a move down that far? If not, I might not wait. If it seems like Bitcoin's bullish, it's not like Uni's gonna retrace down to there while Bitcoin's pumping. So, I would have a couple more steps before I enter this position, but unfortunately, I do gotta end the stream today. One problem with this time slot is usually I'm gonna have to go after an hour. Discord is telling me my stream has not had audio this entire time. Is that true? I don't know. But thank you for joining, everybody. This week was a little chill. I know I missed tea time yesterday. I might even have to cancel tea time tomorrow, but I'm really gonna try and make it work. Just a busy week for me, and then yesterday I was just like, my head was exploding. But yeah, everybody trade safe. Let us know what you're doing in chat. I wanted to actually do a little bit more Q&A this time, see what you guys have been looking at lately, but ran out of time, and now I'm just procrastinating because I don't want to leave y'all. But got a spinner down. Have a good one. Hopefully catch you on tea time tomorrow. Other than that, got some fun, very directly user-friendly updates coming soon for both the web app and the Telegram bot. So look forward to those, and other than that, we'll catch you all next time.